As the Inquisitor approached the Tau, Brielle saw that the prisoner too had caught sight of Grand. The Tau's breathing increased as he strove to turn his head to look upon the Inquisitor. Grand took up his position immediately behind the prisoner and rested his hands on the device mounted over the Tau's head. "If the choice were mine," whispered the Inquisitor, his voice plainly audible despite its low tone, "I would incinerate every last one of you. I would reduce you to ashes and scour clean those worlds you have sullied with your filthy tread." Brielle watched as Inquisitor Grand used some form of witchery. He was tearing into the prisoner's psyche, using the wires to bridge the gulf between human and Xenos. She felt spiritually soiled by the psychic taint radiating from the scene before her. Ever-increasing waves of actinic corruption snapped at her heels as she walked through the chamber's armored portal, the prisoner's alien screams echoing behind her before being abruptly cut off as the door rolled shut at her passing. "Speak, child, for you are among friends." "I thought," she continued, "you were going to question him." She felt foolish even as she spoke, but went on regardless. "Why did you—" "Kill it?" the Cardinal asked, his voice loud. "The Xenos has no right to live in the galaxy. The stars belong to mankind. The Council would have us question the prisoner, and so we did. Once questioned, it was disposed of, as is only fitting." "Indeed," the Inquisitor whispered, his eyes seeming to Brielle to flash crimson for just an instant, before being swallowed up beneath the shadows. "What did he tell you?" Brielle asked, playing along with what she saw as the Inquisitor's theater. Grand chuckled by way of explanation, a sound Brielle scarcely believed could have issued from a human throat. "I saw a race entirely consumed with a false ideology. They believe they expand for the good of all, but I saw where they fear to look, and I saw it is fear that drives the Tau ever outwards, and it is fear that will ultimately drive them to destruction as they are dashed against the ancient forces at large in the galaxy." Brielle felt confusion at the Inquisitor's words. She had gleaned a little of the Tau's philosophies and did not recognize the drives that Grand described. So far as she understood, the Tau sought to unite every race they came into contact with through a desire for mutually constructive cooperation. "They would run and hide," said the Cardinal, "and so they should, for even now a force is being gathered to seek out and destroy a nearby colony that the Inquisitor learned of from the prisoner's mind. Even as the battle rages below us, we shall send out our forces and destroy these aliens wherever they may be found. When every Tau on this side of the gulf is dead, we shall cross the void and raze to ashes every last world in their pathetic little empire." Brielle knew then that the crusade could not be allowed to continue if these two were to be its leaders. What had begun as an opportunity was rapidly descending into utter madness. Her mind reeled as she considered the scale of the disaster about to descend upon the Eastern Rim, upon man and Tau both. Later, Brielle lounged in her quarters aboard the Fairlight. She had welcomed the return to the familiar surroundings of her vessel. It might be cramped and ill-lit compared to the Tau station, but it was her home. The lighting was turned low, and a shadowed figure sat opposite her. "I know enough of the Imperium," the man said, "to know that they will carry out their threat." Brielle sighed and took a sip of liqueur. Despite the fact that she had bathed for hours and scrubbed her skin raw, she still felt the horrific stain that had touched her in the interrogation chamber. "I know that now. That is why they must not win this war.